Today, we're going to be talking about divorce and also looking at how the law protects the Nigerian woman.
Did you say there's one divorce every 13 seconds?
13 seconds.
Of 24 hours?
Yes.
Well, that's a lot.
Across the world.
A lot of divorces.
Some divorces or separation end up in bitterness. They end up in absolute, what's the word now? Hatred for one another. That's not the kind of, we want a friendly divorce.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Amazons.
According to research by the Good Divorce New York HarperCollins, someone gets divorced every 13 seconds. Every year, over 1 million families experience divorce. Therefore, it has become an inevitable aspect of our life that can no longer be ignored or pushed to the background. Consequently, it is imperative to analyze the grounds for the dissolution of statutory marriage in Nigeria and how the law protects, most importantly, the children from the marriage and, of course, the woman. Welcome to Amazon. Today, we're going to be talking about divorce and also looking at how the law protects the Nigerian woman. Hello, Aisha.
Hello, Dalako.
Bimbo.
Hello, you.
Divorce. We cannot hide away from it anymore. We can't pretend that it doesn't happen. It's happening every day and on the increase at such a pace that I don't think we can even begin to comprehend.
Did you say there's one divorce every 13 seconds?
13 seconds.
Of 24 hours?
Yes.
Well, that's a lot.
Across the world.
A lot of divorces.
It's in as much as we want marriages to stay together, as much as we want the family to remain as a unit, there are still some cases where the two people concerned decide that, look, we no longer can pretend about this anymore. It's best for the two parties to go their separate ways. But what we want to be concerned about here is how to still remain a family even though you are separated, especially when there are children involved. How to make the two people get involved in the upbringing of the children. Some divorces or separation end up in bitterness. They end up in absolute, what's the word now? Hatred for one another. That's not the kind of, we want a friendly divorce. A divorce that is mutual. We both agree, look, this is not working. Maybe we better remain as friends.
Is it possible to have a mutual divorce?
It is possible if the people involved realize that their lives are not about them anymore. As soon as you bring children into the picture, your decisions, every decision you make should be first to suit the children, not about you anymore. I keep saying this, and it's the truth. Because once you decide that I am ready, I want to have kids, I want to have children, then you must know that it's a huge responsibility and it means changing your life, changing your perspective, changing your decisions. It's not about you anymore, it's about that little person.
So the children, you're saying that the children
for the children's sake, it must be, you know,
mutual,
it must be mutual, it must be friendly.
Well, you know, Aisha, you know, when you listen to, like when you read the newspaper, you find that a lot of the stars, maybe the stars, when they separate, they come out and do a joint statement, and then they sort of like look for a way to manage it. But would you say it's because of the fact that they're in the public eye that makes them know that they have no choice but to find an amicable ground on which to separate?
They have invested so much in their career. The public has a certain perception of them. So I'm not even sure that they are the ones issuing the statements. It's their PR agents, because you still want the public to see and perceive these people the way they were and the way they will still be even after the divorce. It's people
really, honestly, when you're talking about people in the limelight, it's really about your reputation, the professional reputation that you've built over the years.
And I also like to say something here. The reason, in most cases, most divorces end up in bitterness. That's because one of the parties is going to feel that I've invested too much in this relationship, I've invested too much in this marriage, I've invested so much of my emotion, my time, sometimes my career, I give up for this relationship. And at the end of it, what do I take out from it? What did I benefit from it? All of these years that I have invested in this relationship. But if both parties have invested emotionally, financially, or otherwise, equally in the relationship, and you also end up splitting everything equally, or sometimes the woman even gets more than the man, because, you know, depending on how old the kids are, the woman takes the kids with her. But that does not mean that the hatred of the separation should be transferred to the children.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Amazon. If you're just joining us, today we're talking about divorce. Divorce in Nigeria. It's getting out of hand, not even in Nigeria, all over the world. And it's something that we need to start thinking of. In fact, actually start preparing for it. Bimbo, what's that thing that you signed? Prenuptial. No, I think it's getting to the point where we just, honestly, women need to take it into consideration. I think before, when you want to get married and a man says, okay, come and sign a prenuptial thing, you think he has a plan already.
Yeah, I wouldn't even, in my opinion, I would not sign a prenup with any man.
Really?
Yeah, I would not.
Bimbo, will you?
I would
Look,
not.
even in England, in Europe, in America, everywhere else, there's still a lot of issues when it comes to signing a prenup. Because instantly what the person is thinking is that, oh, you don't trust me. You think I'm out to get your money, or you think I'm out to, to rob you or whatever, take advantage of you. And, you think this marriage is not going to last forever. So there's still issues with that world over. But for me, I don't think it's a big deal. I could, if it favors me.
I would rather personally, personally, I think I would rather sign a prenup, because basically what it would do is it will assure me of what is going to come to me, because before you go into marriage, Bimbo, you know how it is.
What's a prenup? Prenup, in my own prenup is everything I own. Even after we are separated, it's not.
No.
Everything
You
still belongs
decide.
to me.
No. That's
In the
not.
prenup, you can decide the percentage.
So it's a negotiating.
Well, you negotiate that, should in
contract.
case anything happens and we have to go our separate ways. No. I mean, should in case.
That's a bad way to start. Even before the marriage, we are already thinking of.
Aisha,
in
every
case of
13
separation.
seconds, somebody is getting divorced.
Well,
this
so
thing is happening.
The reality is that
The
it could be
reality
you.
is there. So wouldn't it be better for me to know that if I'm going to walk away, I walk away with £2 million, $2 million.
You're saying what I'm saying.
If the
2
guy has
million naira.
10 million naira.
No, you're saying what I'm saying. If the prenup states that I get half of what you have, why not?
We've got a guest joining us on set today, Mrs. Adetola Olubodun. She's a fashion designer and also a divorcee. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Amazon. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for taking time out to join us here today. We're talking about divorce. And I just said to Bimbo before you came and said that sometimes we can all harp about it and talk about it. Maybe until we're actually in that situation, we may not know what actually makes women sometimes behave the way they behave, especially during the proceedings of the divorce, especially, and also when children are involved. It's something that you've gone through. So I don't know if you'd be able to shed some light on how it affected you, if the law was, or if you felt the law was more to your advantage and the children's advantage. I mean, what's your take on that?
Well, thank you. In marriage, I believe the marriage is supposed to be someone to enjoy, not to endure. Yeah. But it has not been really funny, if I may say. I don't really enjoy my marriage. And all started knowing ourselves, showing love, normal, usual love. And in the process, a friend, broken hearts, meeting a guy, he's just trying to show you love from your past relationship. Okay, fine, you're not ready for a relationship. I said, yes, no, just allow me to be for now. He said, no. The fact that someone goes doesn't mean another one will not come, a better one will not come. Okay, fine. Showing a Christian brother every time, call. We have a program in the church, invite to church, go to my church, and in the process, I thought that, okay, wow, heaven or health, decided to take the step of getting married. In the process, when I was planning my marriage, and I lost my elder brother, and I decided that, okay, fine, I don't want to do elaborate wedding. I decided to do it on a low profile. Then at the end of the day, got married, and 2 days after marriage, it's funny. I just decided to tell my husband that, okay, sharing the past experience with your husband, just happy, newly married, and then at the end of the day, telling your husband that this and this and this what you've done in the past, since he's going to buy the idea, or he's going to, at least, let's just share our past experience. In the process, it wasn't funny.
Really?
Oh, man, you need to see the beating. Gosh.
2 days after marriage.
I'm telling you.
But your past experiences should have been shared with him if you wanted to before the marriage. Didn't you think so?
No, I did. You can't remember everything. That's just the truth. He was just asking questions. Okay, fine. I noticed you're kind of close to one particular person or the other. I said, yes, it's my good friend. He said, I know, tell me more. But I suspected something. And that's okay, fine. I just decided to be just open to him and just tell him, okay, this is what and what was happening between us before I met you. And
so how long after did you decide to separate? How long after the marriage? If he beats you 2 days after when you should still be on your honeymoon, showing the best of love to one another. So how long did this marriage last?
The truth of the matter, I'm just a very patient person. I was married for 7 years.
7 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you have any children?
They have a child.
So in between the 7 years, I don't know, physical abuse, did it continue? Were you now holding back?
Men on the streets, in the markets, in the church.
Can I ask you something? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to comprehend this. Why would you allow yourself to be treated like that for that long? What was it that kept you in that? Is it possible to love someone that's abusing you? Could it be love? Is it finances? Is it the stigmatization of not being married? Because there must be something that makes women stay in it.
Loads of reasons. I think for every woman it's different. What was yours?
Mine, you look at where you're coming from. I mean, your family. Okay, something like this has never happened. And, when you're from Yoruba land, you always have that mentality of saying, why can I get married and go back to my father's house back? So that's just the main reason.
Okay, so after you've separated now for how long? Divorce, that's the word.
Last 4 years now.
4 years. So you have a daughter.
No, just a son.
You have a son. Yeah. What has been his support? I mean, what did you get out of the marriage? Did you go to court? Did you have a court wedding before the church wedding? What process did you have to go through for your divorce to be legalized, and what did you get out of it? What is a man supporting your son? Are you being supported in any way financially?
Actually, financially, I've not been at all. I've been the woman working and living and supporting my son for him to just make a living.
Okay, can I come in there looking at the law? Because I think the law that governs the divorce in Nigeria is the Marriage Causes Act 1970. And I know that it says that because when you're going through a divorce process, you need to first of all apply for the decree. Were you the one that initiated the divorce, or was it the one that started the divorce proceedings? Obviously, after you separated.
Yeah, after the separation, actually we've been separated for like 4 years, like I said, and when I saw it's not working, so I decided that I'm not getting younger any longer.
Okay, so you were the one that went to court and then asked.
He made the move first.
He made the move first, but you didn't contest it.
I was, sentiment, people telling you, cool down, it's going to be all right, don't worry, you don't need to rush.
Do you have the decree absolute now?
No.
You don't have it yet, so.
No.
Because when from the date of the date the decree is given, what they normally do is when there's a child who is a minor, what they will probably do is they sort of like hold up doing the absolute to ensure that the welfare, education, and development of that child is something that is well considered and also made provision for. Is that what's delaying the decree absolute? Because a lot of women are caught in this thing where they separate, but then actually never actually get to that divorce thing because they go backward and forward trying to get the man to bring his financial statements and everything. And before you know it, it goes on for years. And during that period, because nothing has been ascertained in court, you find that the woman is the one bearing the brunt of looking after this child. And after a while, she gets tired or she finds someone else to marry. But and then she doesn't care at that time. All she wants is a divorce absolute.
In this kind of situation, who initiates the official documentation of divorce? Is it the man or the woman?
Anyone can do it. Anyone can.
The reason I ask is, the man has made it obvious to you that he doesn't want you anymore. You can't seem to make up your mind. Is it because of love? Is it the fact that maybe you enjoy the beating and that's why you still want to hold on to this man? Or is it because of your son? Because there must be a reason why you can't seem to make up your mind, especially now that you even find you have a man who obviously loves you, and I'm sure maybe you love him or you are hoping to love him in the future. What is it that is holding you back from?
As a matter of fact, I can't really explain what's really, because most time when I talk to my son that I'm going to remarry you, I'm going to marry someone else, my son will say, no, don't marry anybody, marry my daddy. I say, your daddy.
People, it's sentiment, isn't it? Do you agree with me?
I'm going to have to tell you something. The way I see it, right? The situation that you're in is not a good situation for your son. At the end of the day, he's in between. If you're in between, he's in between. He's not moving forward, he's not going backwards. And children need stability. They need some form of stability. So you need to make decisions because of your son. You need to decide. I don't understand why you're still waiting, but whatever it is, you need to get to a point where you can settle the differences within yourself so you can give the boy the best life that he deserves. If daddy is not there, if there's a better daddy, how many times does he see his father?
Doesn't probably not.
So you're the one that's putting the sentiments in his heart at the end of the day. You're the one saying daddy this, daddy that, or daddy something. So you need to, look, think about him first. That's what I would advise. If you're still in love with your husband, well, I don't know what to say about that because it wasn't a healthy relationship. It's not even the sort of relationship that a child should see. Yeah. So I would advise that just think about your son first and do what you believe and know is right for him.
Have you sought any legal, help or opinion about all of this? But maybe that is also the issue. Maybe you do not know what to do about getting the separation. Have you sought legal help?
Yes, I have some lawyer friends, and when the thing was too strong in me, that was about 2 years ago, said I should calm down, maybe because he's a close friend, maybe just trying, and that's okay, fine. If you're not ready to do the job, just introduce someone to me. He said I should just calm down. He's trying to pull Christianity and all this stuff that, okay, fine, calm down. Things going to be all right. Just allow him to be. Maybe after we come back to his sessions.
Do you know what I feel about all the things you're saying? They're just excuses.
So it looks like it's more a case of sentiment, not knowing what to do, how to go about it. I think that's one of the things that's actually keeping you stagnant and in the same position.
No, the issue is that, apart from the lawyer that told me should still hold on, I met another lawyer again. He told me, the huge amount he called was like ridiculous. I said, okay, fine. I can't be looking for house rent to pay, I want to pay my son's school fees at the same time, then you're telling me to bring this kind of amount. I just told him, even my certificate is still with the lawyer up to now. I just told him, just hold on to it. That when I'm ready, I'll get back to you.
You'll come back to it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we have in the studio with us today Barrister Joe Eboigbe, a divorce lawyer, to come and shed more light on what you can do, how you can go about it, and how quickly you can get a divorce if you need to get a divorce. Barrister Joe Eboigbe.
Hello, Barrister.
Welcome.
Please have a seat.
Please take a seat. You're welcome. Thank you, Barrister, for joining us today. My learned colleague, Aisha Bimbo, and of course, our beautiful guest here that we think should try and move on with their life. So what I would like to actually ask you, Barrister, is we know there's a law, and the law is there to protect everybody involved. Let's not just keep harping on about the woman and the child, because there are men as well that, you know, they are in horrible marriages and they don't even know how to get out as well. So if you want to get divorced, what's the first step you take? And how does it work? How long does it take?
Well, first, I'll thank you for having me in your studio, for sitting with wonderful and distinguished Amazons. Now, the procedure for dissolution of marriage, divorce, it's quite simple and straight. You walk into a lawyer's office, you give instructions, the lawyer files petition, and you go to court to prove your case. Now, duration, it's relative. If you're filing a dissolution of marriage in Lagos, you're likely going to take minimum of 3 years.
3 years?
Because of our court system.
Minimum.
Yes. If you're lucky, it is unchallenged, maybe 2 years. Because of our system in Lagos and because of the pile up. Now, like 10, 15 years ago, you had fewer dissolution cases in court, matrimonial cases in court. Now, I do not know what informed it, but in recent time, we've had a long stretch. Sometimes you go to a family court and you're seeing 56 on the list.
For one day.
For one day. And you're naturally expected to run through that list. So most practitioners have elected, because of the flexibility of the matrimonial causes rules, to file outside Lagos. Some even go to Shagamu here. You file, you take a shorter period, maybe a year. Some of us go as far as Benin to get a shorter
It's
period.
not restricted by jurisdiction.
No,
I
no,
don't know
no,
too much
no.
about law. Where the
Matrimonial
couple is domicile.
matrimonial causes proceeding has a single jurisdiction.
Okay.
So you can file anywhere
Anywhere.
in Nigeria.
Where does the law stand today for divorce cases in Nigeria? Aside from states, you know, having different waiting time for their cases to be heard, do you have a common law, like, you know, the whole of Nigeria? If you want to get a divorce, this is the process you have to go through. How many years it's supposed to take, minimum? Because I heard when you were talking about Lagos, you said the pile.
The pile-up of cases.
Yeah, the pile-up
Yes.
of cases. That is the number of divorce cases waiting to be heard.
And
It's a lot in
other
Lagos.
matters, because unlike some jurisdiction where you have specific family courts, the court hearing divorce matters could also hear other matters, could hear transferred matters, could hear appeal matters from the lower courts. So it is not specifically divorce matters, but we all know how it is in Lagos. Lagos is a litigation-conscious state. So there are so many matters in court, and as expected, you have backlog. And it's not restricted to dissolution. It runs in every other proceedings.
Okay, for example, on the grounds, because obviously you have to have grounds for divorce, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, if we're going to go back to the Bible, and as Christians, we're not supposed to divorce, but in the Nigeria of today, actually, I say in the world of today, you know, the kind of things that are happening are not things that anyone should actually put up with. I mean, obviously, when it gets to domestic violence, and adultery is also a ground for divorce, if I believe. I believe so. You know, but I would like to make reference to the case of our guest here today, who, I mean, everything broke down literally 2 days after she got married. But for the sake of sentiment or whatever reason best known to her, till today she still hasn't gotten her divorce. And it's not because she doesn't want it. According to what she just said now, she's obviously said that she's tried to do it. And the amount of money, you know, that the lawyers ask her for is another deterrent for her not even wanting to move on with it, especially when the man is actually not even contributing towards the upkeep of the child. So in her case, what would you advise her to do?
As lawyers, we take instructions.
We also advise.
She has to tell us what she wants, and we'll tell her what the law can accommodate. You see, you get to a point in matrimonial courses, and for me, that's a very passionate practice, because it's one of the matters you take to court. I'm talking for myself, and you win and you leave the court unhappy.
Why is that?
Yes, because there is no substitute for a good marriage. Divorce cannot, no matter how generous the judge is with granting your claims, cannot substitute for a good marriage, particularly for parties and then for the products of the marriage, the children. Mm-hmm. So that is why most times when you leave the courts, you cannot celebrate a marriage that has broken down. You ask the grounds. There's a single ground for dissolution of marriage in Nigeria, that the marriage would be seen to have broken down irretrievably. Now, in proving that it has broken down irretrievably, there are some elements that you may want to incorporate. It could come from the conduct of the party. It could be adultery. It could be that the respondent has behaved in a manner that the petitioner cannot reasonably be expected to live with. It could be his unwillingness to consummate the marriage. You know, there are several.
What about physical abuse? Is it part of the...
Yes. Physical abuse is part of it. Now, you must establish that the marriage has broken down irretrievably. How you go about that is dependent on case-by-case analysis.
I asked him a question backstage before we came in. I said, take for example, I said, okay, a man is worth 3 million naira, for example. I said, okay, and he's divorcing his wife or his wife is divorcing him. I said to him, how is that money shared in Nigeria? How much will she walk away in layman's language?
Yes. What's the sharing formula?
Okay. Now let us correct an impression here. Monies are not shared to women. Properties are not shared to women.
What does the woman get out of it?
What is shared are to the parties. Now, if the man, and unfortunately in Nigeria we have too many proud men who suffer in silence. If the man is financially disadvantaged, he's entitled to maintenance from his wife by our laws.
What about if
Agreed, but is anybody getting maintenance is the question. You're a divorce lawyer, so in the cases that you've gone to trial for, how many people have gotten anything from the marriage? Let's assume the woman has been a housewife for God knows how long. Does she come up with something for the children? Because in most cases, like her case, most cases I've heard of, is the other one party is always, not getting what they deserve.
No,
be it the man or the woman.
Bimbo, I do not agree with that. Frankly, I have had matters where we were compensated. I've had matters where properties were shared. I've had matters where, without justification for maintenance, we were able to convince the courts that we have to return the petitioner now, who was a woman, to the status she was before the dissolution. And the status she was that she was entitled to 350,000 naira per month from the husband. And they didn't have a child. And the court granted that. You see, the problem we have, frankly, the problem we have with matrimonial causes proceedings is that our women, with the greatest respect, act more with sentiments and emotion instead of applying rational reasoning. I'll give you an instance. A lady walks into your office, now in this case, my office. She sits down, she says, I want a divorce. I said, okay, beautiful. Why do you want a divorce? She starts with the most horrific stories you can ever hear. Torture, torment, and pain. She starts by telling you that the week after her marriage, at the honeymoon, the husband read out rules that would guide their marriage. One of which was that she will not demand for sex until he wants it. That sounds funny.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
You see, I want you to finish because I'm just stunned by what I'm hearing. That the man reads out rules to a woman that this is how our marriage will be guided. Please go on.
And he went further to say that you will not entertain visitors in our house until you have given me 2 weeks written notice. He went further to say that you cannot work because I cannot in my mind imagine my wife a working class lady.
This was after the marriage.
No, in the
On the-
marriage.
In the on their honeymoon.
No, I mean after the wedding.
Yeah, after
should
the
I
wedding,
say?
yes.
On their honeymoon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
And she says, okay, can I live with this? Oh, no, I shouldn't break. The church says we should not dissolve marriage. Let me endure.
That's Rosalind, right?
She endures for 3 years. They had issues, naturally. All marriages come with issues. Towards the end of the 3rd year, on a fateful Sunday, the husband bundles her in the pretense that they were going to church and her 6-month-old daughter and literally dump her at her father's house.
Ridiculous.
Now she has been like 4 years post-NYC without a job. She has almost become unemployable by anybody. No working experience. She's abandoned to the care and goodwill of her family members. Luckily, she got a job. And from nowhere, the man wakes up to say, you know what, I want custody of my child. She runs to the office. After narrating all of her story, I say, okay, now what do you want? You want dissolution. That is only one part, because for me, your marriage has broken down irretrievably.
Of course.
And I won't have problem saying that to the court. Mm-hmm. Now, you have rights. You have rights under Section 70 for maintenance. You can, if you have properties, you can have share of the properties. And I told her all the beautiful things she could get. And she said to me, you know what, Joe, I don't want anything. I just want out. I just want out. I just want custody of my child. I said, okay. Now, that is the point where you, as a legal practitioner, gets divided. You are confused. You are wondering whether you should proceed with the ethics of the profession that says, you know what, you take instructions, or realizing that this lady is not stable enough to appreciate the dark roads she's about to walk in alone, advise her. So I told her, I said, you know what, these are the things I think you should do. Take 2 weeks, think about it, and come back. After 2 weeks, she came back, trying to convince me that she just wants custody, not thinking how she will feed the child, how she will take care of her bills and that of the child. School fees in Lagos is crazy these days. She's not thinking about all of that. And she said that she wants out. I said, okay, we'll take instructions, we'll fight.
So what was the outcome? What was the outcome of, I mean, have you been, did you go to court?
We're in court. We are
Oh,
still
you're
in court.
presently
Yeah,
in
we're in
court
court.
now. but she doesn't want to fight for anything. All
She doesn't want anything. But we were able to convince her because she was referred by another lady that we acted for. We were able to convince her, "Look, you know what? Let's just file these things. It's your right." And she says that the world will think she's a gold digger. I say you cannot be digging for gold where you live with gold. If the gold is yours, there's nothing to dig out.
But don't you think?
I'm just, I think what happens with a lot of women, as you said, we are very sentimental people. Women are sentimental. It's the truth. We're very emotional. Everything is about emotion. Obviously, the woman had lived a life that was horrible to her, and she just wanted it to end. She didn't want to be reminded of anything. She didn't even care to think of her child's future, which I'm sure happens all the time. But I'd like to ask a question. In a case where it's not a happy divorce, so to speak, where one party doesn't want to let go, how do you prove that, there's nothing left? Who bears the honors of proving that there's nothing left to the court? And what, in terms of evidence, what are we...
Proof.
Yes.
Standard of proof.
Yes.
Now, you will prove, you are the petitioner, you are the one that says that the marriage has broken down irretrievably. And Mr. B, the respondent, says, no, we are still enjoying our marriage.
So what if every time we bring Mr. B to court, and Mr. B, I say, my Lord, I love her so much. All I want is to be with her for the rest of my life.
Yes, then Mrs. A will have to tell the court that this is pretense. I've lived with this.
How do you prove that it is if I am just like that throughout?
I don't want to go too deep on the matter I just analyzed now. In matrimonial causes proceedings, you must have what they call compulsory conference. And now that is provided for in our rules to see if we can resolve and then have them settled even after we have filed our petition.
There's so many reasons that women give for not actually looking for not actually seeking their rights. I'd like to say thank you so much for coming, Barrister, and also thank you. And Barrister, maybe you'd help us talk to her and obviously see if there's any way you can help us to help her, because she's very lucky. She's found someone else. She's a beautiful woman, and there's no reason why she shouldn't move on with her life. You've been separated for 4 years, so it's more than enough time, for you to start living your life again if it's not working, especially when the man is not interested anymore. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. Back to Amazons. If you're just joining us, what we've been talking about today is divorce. Divorce, they say, is happening every 13 seconds all over the world. So it's not something that we need to shy away from. It's something that's in our face. It's come to live with us. And I think it's time we know, especially for women and children, how to look after themselves in cases that marriages have to be dissolved. I'm going to throw questions to the member of the audience now, because obviously I'm sure, even though we have some young people here, I'm sure we have people who are married. The gentleman in blue, sorry, what's your name?
My name is Mora.
Mora, what's your take?
I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
Earlier the barrister made mention of a compulsory conflict, okay? And I want to ask from this angle, what will you advise a newly wedded couple, you understand, on how to manage or handle discouragement in order not to lead to divorce?
Okay. Well, in terms of advice, I don't think in this day and age anyway, when you even from church, you go for counseling. Your parents are there to advise you. Okay, and I think it's in Calabar somewhere where they take you into a particular room and they teach you all the things, that you should expect and how to deal with all those things. But now I don't think it actually has anything to do with advising someone on what to expect. If I was going to advise someone, I'll say, expect the worst. Expect the unexpected, because you don't know. People change when they begin to live together. It's completely different. Even with your friends, if you have friends that you were just friends and you were not living together, the minute you start cohabiting together and you're seeing each other every day, there's bound to be friction. So you can't really determine or advise someone on react this way or do this thing when that thing happens. I would just say, I think it boils down to how resilient the individuals are and how much they believe in the marriage institution and whether it's working for them or not. To be honest with you, I don't think marriage is for everybody. That's the truth. Some people function better outside marriage than in marriage because of the kind of person that they are. Some people just want to be free, but they can make the best partner. That's what I think. I'd like to ask Yemi.
Thank you. To me, personally, though I'm still very single, right? But marriage is always interesting when you look at it that, okay, fine, at the end of it, I will have my wife with kids, we'll go here and there, we'll have fun. But come to think of it, when you look around and you see the case of divorce here and there, it shocks me when I see it that way and I'm like, do I want to get married? But fine, we go for counseling, we go for seminars here and there before marriage. But I think there should be something we should be doing even after marriage. I could remember it used to be in India, like in India, when you get married, the moment you separate, you can go elsewhere. Everybody will look at you as, this one is not serious, this one is not serious. They've got married and they separated. I think there should be something like that here so that everyone getting married will endure to the end, because marriage is always sweet when you endure to the end.
Yeah, I mean, Yemi, I agree with you. In the Philippines and the Vatican City, divorce is not allowed. You cannot get divorced. So once you get married, you are married and you're married for life. Unlike other countries, especially even in Nigeria now, and in America, because I think America has the highest divorce rate in the whole world. And from what you said, which is what I said to the gentleman as well, once there's an avenue to get out, who really wants to stand in a heated kitchen, really, if I can use the next door and actually go to a better place? So I agree with you that maybe there should be something that should be set in place to encourage and deter people. And I think one of the greatest things that can do that is when men know that if they decide to divorce you, you're going to take 70 or 80% of what they've worked for all their life. They will comport and compose themselves. Anyway, thank you so much. Oh, Bibo. Well, divorce in Nigeria, the law protecting women, the rate at which the divorce, alarming rate at which divorce is happening all over the world now, not even in Nigeria. I mean, what do you think?
I think the first step is to take better care when you're choosing a partner. Because before we get to divorce, we get to the marriage. That's the thing. Without marriage, there's no divorce. So maybe what we're doing is we're doing a lot wrong now. Maybe we're jumping into marriages. Maybe we're marrying for the wrong reasons. It's an individual thing, so we can't lump everybody together and say, oh, this is why you're getting married or not. But I do know that one of the reasons that people are rushing into marriage is that a lot of women believe that, oh, I'm getting too old. I'm on the shelf. It's time to get married. And they pick the first available man. That, I know, is one of the reasons. Because from some of the women that I have spoken to that have been divorced, that's what happened. But the truth of the matter is, it's a holy matrimony. You're picking everybody that you know and saying, come and see me stand before God and swear to love someone for the rest of my life. Before you make that decision, please, please, think carefully. Don't jump into it.
For the women, I, for instance, would not support a woman that is not working, that is a housewife. The man tells you he's going to take care of your bills. You never know what will happen tomorrow. So young ladies out there should also be careful. Don't let material things rule who you decide to get married to. Study, take time to study the relationship you are going into, and be sure that that relationship, you go into it with the mindset that it will be for better, for worse, until death do us apart, like they say.
Yeah. Well, viewers at home, we've been talking about divorce today, and it's something that we cannot hide away from, like I keep saying. And I think rather than wait for the time that divorce will come up to you or you face it, I think it's high time women and men as well start understanding the responsibility that goes into keeping a marriage together and actually thinking things through carefully before signing on that dotted line. Till next time, thank you for watching.